Hello and welcome back to the Cellphone Philosopher, bite-sized knowledge for people on the go. Today we're going to be talking about how do we build positive habits that have a really positive impact on our life and ditch some of the negative habits that we've kind of built up over the years that are holding us back and holding us down. So the first principle to really understand is that time doesn't change your situation, only action changes your situation. You are the net sum of your habits. Take this, write this down, make it a mantra. And Jack Canfield has this whole chapter on this issue, and he basically says that everything you've essentially experienced and attained in your life is the net sum of your habits up to this point. So if you want to change your future and your future success, you need to realize and ask yourself on a daily basis, essentially, what am I doing to generate my future success? What habits am I doing that are really positive, that are going to have the impact or the goal that I want out of my life, and I want out of my future, and I want out of my success? So your attitude determines your success level. As Kanye West says, your attitude determines your latitude. A really great story which backs this up is, so Jim Rohn essentially told the story in one of his talks. He said that a salesperson, one salesperson looks outside and sees rain and says, "Oh my God, it's raining. They can't expect us to work in this weather," stays at home. And another salesperson sees the exact same rain and goes outside and says, "Do you know what? This is amazing. I can go and everyone's going to be in the house today, so it's going to make my job a hell of a lot easier." Goes, knocks on every door, and then says, "You know what? And the best thing about this is most of the salespeople would have stayed at home. So he's the only one out there." And that's the attitude that you really want to adopt. How do you take a positive attitude to circumstance, and how do you build positive habits that are going to impact your life? I want to go into a bit of the neuroscience behind change. And we have these things called prefrontal cortexes in our brains, which control impulses, and essentially impulses and impulse desires. And essentially, when we try to change too much in one go, what happens is our prefrontal cortex becomes overwhelmed, so it sends the signal to this other part of our brain called the amygdala, which manages more of an anxiety, fear response, like the fight or flight reaction. And suddenly we feel anxious because we've tried to change too much in one go. So actually, the Japanese have this amazing thing called Kaizen, which is this science of doing a little bit every single day to essentially make sure that we don't activate this kind of neurotransmitter, and this whole system. It doesn't get essentially peak up when we try to change, because we're only doing a little bit. So much it's actually so small what we're doing that we're not triggering the system. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, how can we start progressing to our goal and do a little bit every day? And a great way to do this is you can take a piece of paper and write, okay, well, what are the 3 habits that are going to have the biggest impact on my life right now? Write those habits down and say, actually, then what are the 3 habits that essentially having the most negative impact on my life right now? Is it watching TV, shopping online? How many hours am I doing it for every single day? And how do I lessen it a tiny little bit each day, and to the point where I'm essentially, so the negative habits are gone, and how do I strengthen the positive habits by doing a little more each day? Imagine that your goal is to read this amazing book that you've really wanted to read for the year, but never really found the time to read it. You can say to yourself, actually, instead of trying to read the whole book and saying, you know what, every single day up front, I'm going to read 30 pages every single day, make a goal that says, you know what, I'm going to read 1 page tomorrow. Make it so simple, so easy that it's just it's not rocket science. You can just do it, and it requires no thought, and it's so easy that you're like, you know what, I can do that. And you make this goal, you go out and do the goal, and then once the goal is achieved, you then go and set your goal, and only then, after the goal is achieved, you go and set your goal to then say, okay, well, you know what, tomorrow I think I'm going to read 2 pages. And you gradually build it up, and before you know it, you're reading a huge amount of books. And if you want evidence, just look around my study. That's literally all the books that I'm working on right now, and that's just, I've got a bunch around the corner that I'm also working on. But essentially, these are the ones that I'm kind of actively going through, reading and learning from right now. And I literally started one day. I picked up a book and I said, you know what, I'm going to read 1 page. And I haven't always been the biggest reader. Although I think reading is very valuable. And one day I essentially, you know what, I need to read more. Successful people read more. Warren Buffett reads 5 hours a day. How do I get that habit into my life? So I literally said, okay, well, how do I read 1 page? So I'm going to read 1 page of this book tomorrow. And I read 1 page, and I set myself another goal, and I said, okay, well, you know what, tomorrow I'm going to read 2 pages. And I went on and on and on. And essentially, I got myself into a habit of reading, and it was a really positive habit. And you know, it's just spiraled out from there into really thirst for knowledge and love of reading. And you know, Bruce Lee famously said, "I don't fear the man that does 1,000 kicks. I fear the man that does 1 kick every day for 1,000 days." Be that guy. Take these amazing skills that I've given you, use them to create brilliant habits and really jumpstart your success and your future. So I hope you've got a lot from this. Have a great day.